Welcome to day 35 of the Boat and RV 100 series. I'm Joe Downs with Storage Moguls, and today I'm telling you exactly what tenants pay a premium for and what they don't, because operators in this vertical spend money on the wrong amenities constantly and wonder why their rent ceiling won't move. I'll be direct. There are 4 amenities that the tenants consistently cite as deal makers, and there are dozens of others that make you feel better about your facility without moving your rates $1. And knowing the difference before you spend capex is the difference between a Class A facility and an expensive Class B one. That's the kind of hard-won, field-tested intelligence that lives at storagemoguls.ai, not in a textbook. There are a lot of people talking about storage. Not many of them are still doing it. We are. Every deal we teach, we've touched. Every framework we share came from something real, not a textbook, not a seminar from 5 years ago. We're couplepreneurs in our community, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people who are actively evaluating acquisitions right now. And they're not crazy deals. They're deals between $400,000 and $2 million. They're financeable. They're digestible. The kinds of deals that actually get done. Folks, the word mogul means something specific here. Its definition is a sophisticated operator of real estate. Well, that's someone who's learned the full arc from finding the deal to running it and knows that acquiring and optimizing is a very different thing from just buying. That difference is usually worth tens of thousands of dollars per deal. And if you want a community that's actually in the field with you, storagemoguls.ai is where you want to be. It's free to join. You can advance at your own pace. Let's get into today's episode. So there's 4 amenity tiers. And every amenity investment belongs in one of them. Knowing which tier you're spending in before you write the check determines whether the money compounds into NOI or disappears. The must-haves are the baseline every boat and RV facility is judged against. Reliable gate access that works every time. Adequate lighting so tenants can navigate safely after dark. A clean, passable surface condition. Basic security coverage. These amenities don't get your rates higher, but their absence costs you tenants and with it rates. Fix must-haves before you spend anything else. The premium drivers are the 4 to 6 amenities that boat and RV tenants constantly cite as reasons they chose one facility over another and that justify paying more. We cover each one in detail in the next slides. These are your rent ceiling movers. The nice-to-haves are just that. Nice. The tenants notice them positively, but they don't make the decision and they don't justify a higher rate. A well-landscaped entrance is pleasant. It doesn't move your rent by $10 a space. The total waste are the amenities that no boat and RV tenant specifically wants or uses. An elaborate water feature at the entrance. Premium finishes in an office building. No tenant even visits. Decorative lighting that serves aesthetics but not safety. These are capex dollars that generate zero return. Here's your premium 4 amenities. These are the ones that move tenant decisions and justify higher rates in boat and RV storage. Invest in them in this order. High pressure air station. Boats and RVs have tires, equipment, and inflatables that need regular air. An on-site air station at adequate pressure, not a residential grade unit, is used by a high percentage of tenants every season. Facilities without one regularly cited in tenant reviews as frustration. Facilities with a good one are cited as reasons tenants stay. Cost is roughly $1,500 to $3,500 installed, and the rate impact is $10 to $20 per month in perceived value. A rinse facility is a must for premium rent, as washing a boat or RV at home is prohibited under most HOA rules, the same rules that create the storage demand in the first place. An on-site freshwater rinse facility solves a problem the tenant genuinely has and cannot solve elsewhere easily. Facilities with rinse stations consistently report higher satisfaction scores and lower churn than comparable facilities without one. Cost is going to run you $3,000 to $8,000 depending on the configuration, but the rate impact is $15 to $25 per month in perceived value. Covered carport storage is the most direct mover in the portfolio. A covered space rents for 30 to 50% more than an open air space in most markets. The incremental cost of a construction cost of a carport structure is maybe $8,000 to $15,000 per space, depending on configuration. The incremental rent is $50 to $75 per month per space. The payback period is typically 10 to 15 years, but the NOI per square foot on covered spaces is dramatically higher than the open air. Dump station for RV tenants is huge because an RV tenant who can dump their tank on site before leaving for a trip has fewer reasons to choose a campground or an RV park that offers the same convenience. Dump stations are a retention amenity as much as they are a rate amenity. Facilities with them consistently report lower RV tenant churn. Going to cost between $5,000 to $15,000 depending on hookup requirements. Here's your 5 must-haves. And remember, every one of them needs to be at a baseline standard before you spend $1 on the premium drivers. Tenants don't leave because you don't have a rinse station. They leave because your gate doesn't work. The gate access system is the single most cited operational failure in boat and RV storage. A gate that intermittently locks out tenants is a retention disaster in slow motion. Every lockout generates a call, a Google review, a churn decision. If your gate system has reliability issues, address them before any other capex. Lighting. Boat and RV tenants access their vehicles early in the morning before a weekend trip and late at night after returning. A facility that's difficult to navigate after dark generates consistent low-star reviews and anxiety on the first visits that contributes to early tenure churn. Adequate coverage of aisles and access points is non-negotiable. Surface condition is important. A rutted, flooded gravel lot damages the tow vehicles and trailers of your highest value tenants. It's a liability exposure and a visible signal that the facility is not well managed. Basic grading, drainage, surface maintenance keeps the facility passable and it protects tenant relationships. Really good security coverage can help prevent a theft at an inadequately secured facility. Is a retention event for the entire tenant base, not just the victim. Sorry, a theft at an inadequately secured facility is a retention event for the entire tenant base, not just the victim. Tenants who hear about a theft ask themselves whether their vehicle is protected. Camera coverage of all access points and aisles is the visible signal that the facility takes their security seriously. Here's your 6 steps in order. The sequence matters as much as the investments themselves. So step 1 is non-negotiable. Bring every must-have to baseline before spending on anything else. A $3,000 rinse station at a facility with a broken gate system is wasted money. The gates get fixed first. Step 2 is the air station. Lowest costs among the premium drivers, highest citation frequency in tenant surveys and reviews. For $1,500 to $3,500 installed, you add an amenity that tenants actively use and that distinguishes your facility from competitors who don't have one. Do this before the rinse facility simply because the cost to impact ratio is way better. Step 3 is the rinse facility. Solves a concrete problem for HOA tenants who can't wash their boat or RV at home. Higher cost than the air station, but meaningfully higher retention impact, particularly for high-value vehicle tenants who use their boats and RVs frequently. Step 4 is covered storage, but only when the demand exists to support the investment. The decision rule is straightforward here. If you have a waiting list for covered spaces, your existing covered spaces are underpriced and you should add more. If you have no waiting list and your covered spaces are at market, the demand signal isn't there yet. Step 5 is the dump station, if specifically for facilities with 30% or more RV tenants in the mix. If your tenant base is primarily boat storage, a dump station is less relevant. If RVs are a significant part of your revenue, it's a meaningful retention tool. Every amenity has a payback period, so you should know it before you build. An air station costs between $1,500 and $3,500 installed. That's a 2 to 4 year payback. The NOI impact is primarily retention value. Tenants who cite the air station as a reason they stay. At an average vacancy cost of $400 per tenant, retaining 2 to 3 tenants per year who would have left with this amenity generates enough value to justify the investment in the first operating season. Rinse facility can be between $3,000 and $8,000, as we talked about. Installed, that's a 3 to 6 year payback on retention value. For facilities near boat launch areas or in HOA dense markets, the rinse station payback can be accelerated significantly because the unmet need is strong. Covered storage is a capital-intensive investment, $80,000 to $150,000 for 10 covered spaces, generating $6,000 to $9,000 per year in additional NOI at $50 to $75 per space premium. Payback period there is 10 to 15 years, but the covered spaces also increase your appraised value at refi, which changes the return calculation materially. Gate system upgrade ROI is measured in retention, not rate. A gate that works reliably doesn't get you higher rates. It prevents churn that undermines the rates you already have. Necessary, but measured differently than premium drivers. We covered rate communication on day 33. Here's the amenity angle that makes the rate conversation easier. A rate increase implemented alongside a visible facility improvement is significantly easier to defend than one implemented in isolation. The tenant who received a letter saying your monthly rate is increasing to $185 effective October 1st and also saw a new rent station installed in August has context for the increase. The tenant who received only a letter does not. This is the sequencing strategy that operators in this vertical use most effectively. Plan a premium driver improvement. Installed in late summer before the fall move-in season and announce the fall rate adjustment in the same communication. Something like this. We've installed a new high-pressure air station and freshwater rinse facility this summer. As part of our continued investment in the facility, monthly rates for open-air spaces will be $185 effective October 1st. That letter has two components, what you invested and what the rate will be. The investment makes the rate feel earned rather than extracted. The timing, announcing in August for an October effective date, gives tenants 30 days notice and frames the increase within the context of a facility that is improving, not declining. The practical implication, plan your amenity capex in spring, execute in summer, time the rate adjustment to coincide with the visible improvement. This sequence consistently produces lower pushback and higher retention through the rate transition. All right, next up, day 36, marketing a boat and RV facility, finding tenants before fall, how to keep your waiting list active and your spaces full without spending money on broad advertising. Like this video of the 4 premium drivers, specifically which ones actually move rents and which ones don't, changed how you think about your next capex decision. Subscribe so you don't miss day 36, the marketing episode where we cover the channels that actually produce boat and RV tenants. It's not the channels most operators use. And share this with an operator who is about to spend capex on the wrong amenities. The prioritization framework in today's episode is exactly what they need before they write a check. The amenity investment decision is one of the highest stakes capex calls in boat and RV operations. The right investments move your rent ceiling and reduce your churn. The wrong ones feel good and accomplish nothing financially. StorageMoguls.ai has the amenity ROI calculator and the community intelligence from operators who have made these investments and can tell you what exactly happened. It's free to join, and you'll learn how to make the right capex calls. Rate strategy, retention, amenities, 3 episodes that together build the Section 4 operating playbook. One more episode to go in this section before the live recap. Join Storage Moguls, invest right, operate better, build real value. Tomorrow, marketing. The tenants who fill your spaces in the fall are findable today. So let's go find them. See you tomorrow.